Hello everybody, this is Pat Jasmine Gonzalez. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Friday, October 8th, 2021. I don't have any resolutions tomorrow, so I got the day off. I still have a bunch of stuff to do tomorrow because I probably want to go to my storage unit and continue. I've been separating stuff that I don't want to wait until I get to the donation center at the Goodwill store. Mostly all our books. I've been tossing away stuff that I've been keeping that I no longer use. So I've been tossing away that. I went already through some of the research papers that I had stored for years since after I went to RPI for my PhD studies. I wrote a paper about modeling of biofiltration, and it was just like looking at all the different models available that people were using and explaining them. It was part of a requirement for one of my classes, and so I tossed that away. I kept some, and then I have some papers from when I was working for New York State Department for Environmental Conservation in the Division Soil and hazardous materials, and I kept some of those papers, but most of the other stuff I decided to toss it away. I have no need for that. I haven't worked in the engineering field in over 11 years, so I have no need for that, honestly. I've been trying to get back into the engineering field, and watching the news, it makes me want to get back into it, Especially like today I was watching the news. They were showing that Iceland had some glaciers, and they were showing pictures like back in the 80s where they had a bunch of ice in the area, and now it's like the ice is getting the ice areas are getting smaller, which is sad to see, because that means that global warming is really having an effect in Iceland, and it's really having an effect. It's even having an effect right now. You just have to see the impact of that, And I have and that is the reason why I went into environmental engineering, because when I was doing chemical engineering, I was kind of like, everything's focused about producing stuff, or producing something, material and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but then it's like, what happened to that material after you produce it? You can't just continue producing things that eventually they're going to be either harmful to the environment or to public health. It makes no sense to me. I never liked that idea of producing and not caring. You have to have an idea of what you're going to do afterwards, And there are two different things that you can do. Some of it's like you can use an end of pipe treatment, which end of pipe means that once that material is generated, some residue is going to stay in the water or get discarded to air. So you put some control system to remove those contaminants from the water or the air, and then dispose of them appropriately. Usually sending them to a specific landfill that will take hazardous waste, or a facility that may probably burn them, incinerate them pretty much, to produce it to a harmless, less toxic compound. But one of the other things that I like, and one of the areas that I found fascinating, I got introduced to that area back when I was working for the EPA in 1999, when I went to my co-op practice, was pollution prevention. And pollution prevention makes sense to me, because pollution prevention is like, you try to, the best way to prevent contamination is by not generating it in the first place. So that's the way that you look at things. So you look at a process that you have, and you try to think of ways that you could reduce or not generate any kind of pollution. And that means by maybe you're using a solvent that is toxic, and it's hazardous to the environment. So maybe you do some research and try to see if you can find a different material that is not toxic, that is not detrimental to the environment. So that's the way that pollution prevention looks like. And the sad part is I like pollution prevention, but at the same time, I feel like the way that our society lives doesn't even take that into consideration. We want to have a TV, we want to have a car, we want to have a phone, we want to have a computer, you know. And I get it because I also have this phone that I'm using to make videos, and I like the technology, you know. But also technology also generates, it's going to generate a waste in the near future. When this phone goes to the end of life, it's going to generate a waste that will have to be disposed appropriately, you know. Same thing with household items, you know. Same thing with other materials that we have, you know. And so it's very difficult to really not generate any type of pollution, because one way or another we are generating some type of pollution, whether it's solid waste or water pollution, you know, or air pollution. You know, right now I'm driving to work, so I'm generating CO2 that will get into the atmosphere, you know, and who knows what other things are coming through my tailpipe, you know, hydrocarbons maybe from not burning the fossil fuel properly in my engine, other gases that may be in the gasoline, you know, I don't know, but CO2, I'm making a contribution to CO2, and it's not carbon neutral because I'm not planting any tree. It's not, it's sad in my opinion, you know, and just seeing the effects of like knowing that I wish there was more I could be doing as a person for the environment, but I don't think there's a lot that our society can do, honestly. Like, we have to change our ways of doing things in life, you know, but there's going to be a lot of resistance for that. So I don't know. I mean, it's a question that I have always asked, and it doesn't have an easy answer. It doesn't have an easy answer at all, unfortunately. And so yeah. So watching the documentary that I was watching this morning, showing the effects of global warming, you know, it makes me really sad, honestly. And especially because when they talk about rising sea levels, my family lives in Puerto Rico. I live in an island, and I know that can affect Puerto Rico, which is where I'm from, you know. And it scares me, and it worries me. People that live down there, family members possibly getting impacted by this. So definitely it's something that that it makes me sad and frustrated. And then knowing that I'm stuck in a job that I'm not contributing or trying to do anything to help, you know, and to create awareness, you know, because the only thing that we can do is create awareness and figure things out, you know, to educate others. But I'm not even working in the field. And so now that I'm making this video and I'm giving my perspective, you know, we as a society will become less wasteful. We find ways to produce things that we start using hazardous chemicals that will have an effect that could stay in the environment and cause like detrimental effects to the environment and human life, you know. Which I could say that, but we haven't gotten to that point, and we need to get to that point, you know, at which we can move forward to that, you know. Because what's the point of producing things that to use in processes and things that we want to solve, but if those things, byproducts of those are like chemicals that are hazardous and that have detrimental effects in the environment, to biology or even human health, you know. And it's, to me, it's sad. To me, it's a world that I don't want to be part of, you know. And companies need to do more, honestly. Government should be passing legislation to make companies do more, but like, we live in such a politically divided nation that it's difficult to pass those laws, you know. And the fact that even those companies also can make contributions to government and government officials to pretty much prevent things from happening in terms of law and legislation. It's sad, and it's upsetting, honestly, and it's disgusting too, in my view. Oh, damn! There's an accident on 787. Anyway. That's all I got. Peace out, everybody. Stay safe. Hope at least makes you question things that we do, you know. But I wish that as a society we could do more to protect the environment and human health and nature. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Bye.